This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Excuse me, I just lost my voice a little bit. Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. I had to do it all over again. It's your man Sim in the building. And ladies and gentlemen, we are finally at the All-Star break. And the Knicks need this break desperately. Desperately, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you know, tonight's game, I think, was much expected, the outcome of this game. Now, it started off, the Knicks gave us some hope. Actually, took a 12-point lead. Jalen Brunson, 20 points in the first quarter. Felt like, okay, maybe they're going to do something. Maybe they'll be able to pull off an upset heading into the All-Star break. They had everybody out. Obviously, Julius Randle out the game. OG Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo, Bogdanovich, Isaiah Hartenstein, obviously Mitchell Robinson. So the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, were literally playing with a hodgepodge group of characters. Guys, lineups on the floor that you never, ever seen before. So, you know, this is what you would expect when you play with a group of players that the Knicks played with tonight. But this break comes at a great, great time. The Knicks really need this break to hopefully get some guys back. Get some guys. I mean, if it were me, I would have sat Jalen Brunson too. You know what I mean? Let Jalen Brunson. The Knicks weren't winning this basketball game. Even with Jalen Brunson on the floor, they just did not have enough talent to win tonight's game. So I didn't really see a reason to play Jalen Brunson. They probably left it up to Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? They probably left it up to Jalen Brunson, and he decided to play. But you could have sat Jalen Brunson and, you know, let him ride off into the sunset, get an extra couple of days rest going into the All-Star break. I mean, you know, when you look at the lineups that was out there on the floor, you know, this looked like a team from, you know, a team. This when you look at the lineups on the floor, this was a team, you know, that you would say, man, the Knicks are in purgatory right now. Not going anywhere. Starting 5, Jalen Brunson, Alec Burks, Jericho Sims, Precious, Josh Hart. You know, two of those guys just came to the team in 2000, you know, played their first minutes with the Knicks in 2024. Jacob Toppin even got 17 minutes tonight. Charlie Brown Jr. played 4 minutes tonight. You know? So, I think it's what you would expect. You know, no surprise here. Anyone who's surprised and anyone who is saying like, oh, going crazy about the season right now, relax. You know what I mean? Relax. The season is not over. You know, so I want people, some people are up in arms, you know, about all the injuries and this and that. Listen, guys are going to get back healthy, and they'll come back. And the Knicks definitely need some time, a couple of weeks with this group to try to find, so that everyone can find their niches. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can get guys back in a timely fashion so they can play 15, 12 to 15 games together because there's only like 27 games left to the rest of the season for the Knicks. You know what I mean? And everyone's not coming back. Like OG and Randall are not coming back right after the All-Star break. They're not. So they're going to come back. You know, Randall will come back first, and then OG will come back. And then hopefully, you know, they can start to build that chemistry. You know, we know OG fit in perfectly, but now you got Bogdanovich, you got Alec Burks. You got to figure out how that's going to fit together. The Knicks need some time to do so. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that I'm concerned about. Are they going to have time to really allow this group to mesh together with, you know, so many injuries and so many guys not being able to play? You know, this time was kind of critical for the team. You know what I mean? They'll, you know, over the break, as they get back to basketball after the break, they'll all take some time off. They'll be able to start to practice together, work through plays, you know, figure some things out together, maybe get some scrimmaging in before they actually step foot on the basketball court. But it's definitely one of my biggest concerns. Will they be able to mesh together, build that chemistry before the playoffs? You know what I mean? You know, that's going to be, that's going to be a question. That's going to be a question. Tonight, though, you know, for a little bit, it looked like Jalen Brunson, I mean, we already know he's a star, but it looked like he was going to save the day for the Knicks with the way he was playing in the first quarter. The Orlando Magic figured, hey, we're going to figure this out. We're going to not let him, you know, have a magical night, pun intended. 33 points for Jalen Brunson, 52% from the field, 62.5% from the three-point line, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Really good shooting night for Jalen Brunson. Also had 6 assists. The next scorer on the bill, ladies and gentlemen, was Precious. And I love Precious. I really do. I like everything that he's doing for the Knicks and the way that he's playing, the energy that he gives, the rebounding, you know what I mean, the defense. He's really finding a niche with this basketball team. But if Precious is your second leading scorer, you know, except for rare occasions, that's probably an issue. And obviously it was an issue tonight for the Knicks. 23 points for Precious, 14 rebounds. He was 8 for 16 from the field, 1 for 2 from the three-point line. He also was 6 for 7 from the free throw line. He had 5 assists too. You know what I mean? You know, there's some guys on this basketball team that, you know, could be playing their way out of the Knicks, away from the Knicks or something like that. You know, with the way that Precious is playing, I heart these guys. You know what I mean? They're putting themselves in position to get some nice contracts. Alec Burks had 13 points, 3 rebounds tonight. He only shot 31%, only 33% from the three-point line. The only other Knick in double digits was Jacob Toppin, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it's going when Jacob Toppin is your 4th leading scorer with 11 points. The only other guy in double digits on your team, you know how the night's going. You can kind of sum that one up. You know, but, you know, what are we going to do? You know, we expected it. I'm just glad the break is here. I'm glad the break is here. You know, guys can get some rest. I'm pretty sure, you know, the Knicks, Leon Rose and them guys, there's 2 roster spots available. We'll be looking at the waiver wire, the buyout market. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, see if we can get some help in here until Randall and OG come back. As for the Orlando Magic, they did what they were supposed to do tonight in defeating the New York Knicks an undermanned New York Knicks. They were led in scoring by Boncaro, 36 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He proved and showed to everyone why he's an all-star, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Why he's an all-star. Next in line, Franz Wagner. He had 21 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Cole Anthony had 11 points tonight, and they had scoring across the board. Moritz Wagner had 10 points tonight. Had guys, Wendell Carter Jr. had 9 points. Caleb Houston had 6 points. Jonathan Isaac had 8 points. They scored 118 points, scoring all the way across the board for the Orlando Magic. The Knicks really, really struggled to stop the Magic tonight. You know what I mean? They struggled to stop the Magic, but you know, I'm not upset. Not upset at it because I mean they were playing severely, severely undermanned. You know what I mean? It's kind of what you would expect from a team that's playing undermanned, the way that the Knicks were playing undermanned. You know, I seen, someone just say, I need the break. I'm tired of watching this trash and all this, whatever he just said. You know what I mean? We just got to relax a little bit. We got to relax a little bit, Knicks fans. The Knicks are, they're suffering injuries right now. You know what I mean? A lot of teams go through this. The Knicks aren't the only one. Knicks fans will make it like the Knicks are the only one. They'll make it like it's only Tom Thibodeau and no other teams have gone through this throughout the season, and it's just not true. Other teams have gone through a severe amount of injuries. We've played some teams who have had a severe amount of injuries, right? The Memphis Grizzlies. They've had a severe amount of injuries this year. You know what I mean? So, guys just got to chill out. Y'all just got to chill out. You're all, happy-go-lucky when the Knicks win. You know what I mean? And you'll sit there and you'll be like, oh, I'm not going to say nothing because the Knicks won. You know what I mean? Now, people are panicking and stuff like that. It happens in an NBA season. It really does. You know what I mean? And as a matter of fact, your boy, Greg, and everybody else that's on Tom Thibodeau, your boy tells you all the time. Says, during the course of a season, there's going to be injuries. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. And guys got to be ready to step up and play. Guys got to be ready to be the next man up. Talks about it all the time. You know what I mean? Talks about it all the time. To me, it's like guys, it's like some of our Knicks fans have never watched the NBA before. Guys are going to get injured. You know what I mean? And we've obviously had seasons where we didn't suffer a lot of injuries. Nobody said nothing about that. Then we just complained about minutes. Although the Knicks didn't really have guys, in the top 10 or sometimes even in the top 15 in minutes in the NBA. But then we still complained about minutes, although we didn't have guys in the minutes, and we were pretty much injury-free. There's been years where it's happened. Under last season, the Knicks were pretty much injury-free besides Mitchell Robinson. But, people that take the opportunity, I get it. We have opportunistic people out there that take their opportunity to get their point across. I get it, and I understand that. I'm with it. This is the time to do it, so go ahead and do it. On the subject of Tom Thibodeau, we might as well listen to Tom Thibodeau. Some of y'all probably don't want to, but we might as well listen to Tibbs. He did a a lengthy post-game interview, explained what he saw out there on the floor. Let's take a listen to Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen.
Very short-handed, and what did you see after that first quarter?
That was the thing that we didn't withstand. I thought we played really well the first quarter, and then the start of the second, we gave up that lead very quickly. And then, the defense wasn't very good. But, I thought we fought in the third. And then, they went on that run right to start the fourth.
With Precious, not 19 offensive rebounds in the last 2 games, what is working very so well
Yeah, I think he's making great effort. It's not just the initial effort, it's the second and third effort as well. And he's going on every shot. And so I think, that's, he's getting into a good rhythm. Like people talk about, rhythm shooting, but you get a rhythm rebounding too. I think he's reading the ball really well and making great effort and doing a lot of good things for us.
You mentioned guys taking advantage of opportunities. You say these other guys are back, but have you found something that you think will help you later in the year from guys who've gotten opportunities?
Yeah, I think, I mentioned earlier, what Isaiah shown us, and then, Precious coming in, there were obviously things that we liked about him. That's why we traded for him. But he's shown us a lot, and it's given us more versatility. We have size now at the 4. He can play the 4 or the 5 and play it well. He's got great feet. So that's a big plus for us. I think Dante being in the rhythm that he's in and the way he's playing, it's not just the shooting, it's the all-around play. And I think Josh has done a really good job as well. And I think he's found a good niche in terms of, pushing the ball, different actions. I think posting up some is good for him, but the transition game is great. It allows, Jalen to play off the catch more. And Josh is good with starters. He's good with the bench. He's good with everyone. So that's been, we knew that just from last year, but I think he's really gotten into a good rhythm too.
By the time you guys come back, second 10 days will be over. Do you know what to expect?
I don't know. That's something that Leon will and his staff will. We have some roster spots that are open, so I'm sure at some point we'll discuss what our options are.
As a competitor, what type of difficulties did Paolo Banchero bring to the table tonight?
Well, he's an all-star, so you got to guard a guy like that with your team. And when he made his threes, which that was a big thing I think for him. But he's a load to deal with, and he gets into the paint. He's big, he's strong, and he has a good mix of shots. He's a guy that's difficult to speed up. So, I thought he played a great game for them.
What is your average game like over the break? What are you trying to get accomplished?
Just take a look at, where we are. We got guys coming back, and just prepare for the start. What are the things that we need to shore up? What are the things we can get better at? And then lock into our opponents. So there's a lot of work to be done. But I think it's a good opportunity to take a break and recharge too. So, after the amount of games that you travel that you have, you want to take advantage of that as well.
There's many injured guys who do have, I know there's rules about you have to be available to them for rehab to keep your facility.
Yeah, they got to, do their rehab, and so they'll be diligent with that. And, guys will get away, which is good for them, but they're going to do some conditioning too. So it's not like they're completely, they understand like when we get back, we have to hit the ground running. So, but I think the break is good for everyone.
These last two games, the defenses know we got to key in on Jalen. How do you think he's handled?
Great. The thing, I like the way he attacked, particularly in the first quarter. They were loaded up to him pretty good, and I thought our starters did a really good job. And I thought he moved well without the ball. That was one of the things. Like with Alec, you can run the offense through him and let Jalen, come off screens and play off the catch, where they can't load up on him quite as much. And then I thought we got into transition some, so he could attack before the defense got set. And then the second quarter, that didn't happen. When he went to the bench, it changed. And so, but we got to be able to manage that better, and I think we will.
So, given how different your roster is now than it was a month and a half have you 8 days off right now. Like when you go in your practice facility, are you like watching Boyan and Burke stuff from Detroit to catch up?
Yeah, a little bit like how we want to utilize them, how they fit. And I think the good thing was we had a number of games with OG, so we got a pretty good idea how we want to use him, and I think he's got a good idea of how he fits into everything. So he was just starting to take off, and I think like with Julius was playing at such a high level before the injury, so getting him back too gives you another guy that people can play off of, and that's the great value in OG, because he can play with the ball, off the ball, he can play with the starters bench. He can put it on the floor a little bit. He can really shoot, and we can't have enough shooting, that's for sure.
Coach, you mentioned the number of players you have missing going into tonight's game. After the break, you're expecting a lot of them to come back. What's the challenge for you in managing all those returns kind of happening at the same time? And
I think that's the challenge of our league, is how quickly can you adapt, and whether it's an injury, foul trouble, a trade, free agency, it doesn't stay the same, and so we have to keep an open mind and adapt very quickly. How quickly can we get everyone onto the same page? And that's the challenge that you constantly have.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Yep. I want to have a good break.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Thibodeau. A lot of talk about Precious there, and listen, Precious is really. Precious has really stepped into this role with the Knicks. He's made himself kind of indispensable right now. And when the Knicks get fully healthy, you heard Tom Thibodeau talk about the size at the 4 position, and I think he's talking about when Julius Randle is back, and you get Hartenstein back, and you get you get everybody back. Precious playing that 4 position. You know what I mean? Like that backup 4 position, which he's proven that he can be successful playing either position. And I think he does add size. Not only does he add size, but he adds another versatile defender that can defend, 2 and 3 positions. And he's been showing you everything that he can do. So yeah, I'm really I'm just impressed with Precious, and since he stepped up and been in his starting role. He's really, really played good basketball. It hasn't been enough for the Knicks to win, but the depth on this team is growing. We're losing, but the depth is growing. You know what I mean? The depth is definitely growing because guys are getting these minutes. I think you heard Wally Zerbiak say something about it during the telecast. Guys are getting these minutes, and they're learning. They're getting better. They're building confidence. You know what I mean? So when the Knicks get fully healthy, you got these guys that have this confidence. So I'm really, really, looking forward to the Knicks getting healthy, seeing the way Tom Thibodeau utilizes the roster, utilizes his players. I see Josh, say that he'd rather have Precious than Bogdanovich. And, listen, Bogdanovich can shoot the basketball, but I think his defense, might win Tom Thibodeau over in the end. I kind of agree with you, Josh. I know Bogey can shoot the ball. He can score it. So he's going to play. And Tom Thibodeau I think he has to see what he has in Bogdanovich, but the defense that Precious brings, the rebounding, it might prove to be what Tom Thibodeau wants on the floor. You know what I mean? It might prove to be. We'll see. But I kind of agree with you though, Josh. Kind of agree with you. NBIC said, don't forget about Randle 2 seasons in a row. I'm not forgetting about Julius Randle getting injured 2 seasons in a row, and in both injuries were freak accidents. See, my thing is, if you want to say Isaiah Hartenstein's injury is wear and tear, okay. Go ahead and say that. But Julius Randle this year was undercut and fell, landed to brace himself. That's why that happened to his shoulder. Right? Last year, Julius Randle played all season long. He lands on somebody's foot. He steps on we see it in the NBA almost every night somewhere. He landed on someone's foot and twisted his ankle. Right? And then it happened again in the playoffs. Those are freak accidents. That's not wear and tear. Come on, man. Like we're making things up to try to prove our point, and it's not true. That's not wear and tear. That's a freak accident. You land on somebody's ankle, it's a freak accident. If a player rolls up on your ankle, another player rolls up on your ankle and twists your ankle, that's a freak accident. That's not wear and tear, right? Some injuries are wear and tear. Some injuries are freak accidents that you can't help. And then some injuries are just going to happen. Maybe you didn't stretch good that day. You know what I mean? Happens that way. Y'all blowing some things out of proportion, in my opinion. Blowing some things out of proportion. Injuries happen in basketball every day. Guys go out and play 2 minutes and get an injury. I'm just glad we got this All-Star break now. Jalen Brunson will be in the All-Star game. I hope he gets limited minutes in the All-Star game. Jalen Brunson is also going to be in the three-point contest. I'm cool. Let him be in the three-point contest. Do what he's going to do in the three-point contest. Jacob Toppin is going to be in the slam dunk contest. So the Knicks have some representation at All-Star Weekend. Obviously Julius Randle's not going to play. I think he'll probably be there to support Brunson, support Jacob Toppin. You know what I mean? So the Knicks, as fans, we'll have a chance to celebrate this team. Going into the All-Star break, what are they, 33-22, 11 games above 500? When is the last time the Knicks went into the All-Star break with, being more than 10 games above 500? It has to be 2012, 2013. Although they've lost 4 in a row, they're going into the game. They're going into the All-Star break in the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. 11 games above 500. 2 games below the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are 35-20. They're currently in the 3rd seed. The Knicks are 2 games below the Bucks. The Knicks are a half game above the Philadelphia 76ers. All right, Philadelphia is in that 5th seed right now. All right, Philadelphia lost to Miami tonight, 109-104. You better believe the second half of the season is going to be a battle, for, all of these. It's going to be a battle for the seeding in the Eastern Conference. From second, right now, from second place all the way down to the 8th seed, is a battle. While and look, the Knicks are 11 games above 500. The Pacers are just 5 games above 500. They're 5 games below the Knicks. I'm sorry, they're 3 games below the Knicks for that 4th seed. It's going to be a battle from the 2 seed all the way down to the 8th seed, I think. You're going to see teams jiggling and juggling all the way through. The Knicks need to get healthy so that they can maintain their situation and possibly move up. And yeah, Walter White, the Knicks, they play Philadelphia coming out of the break. You know what I mean? Let me get to a call. Caller, you live. Name me where you're from, please.
It's Joe Long, calling from California, still a Knicks fan.
Joe, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing, simpatico?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I know there's a lot of people upset, up in arms and things like that. Because
Way too early.
so many
Yeah.
injuries, and then there's trades. So you got some people who think that they messed up with the trade by trading for Burks and Bogdanovich. The injuries,
Yeah.
people are
What
up
do
in
you
arms,
think?
but
Did you like that trade?
I like the trade. I like the team that the Knicks have. We've got to see it out there. We haven't had a chance, obviously, because of so many injuries. We got to see it out there, but I think when it gets out there, it's going to work. Is it enough for the Knicks to get to the Eastern Conference Finals? We'll see. And will they have enough
Yeah.
time when they come back from the break to build the chemistry to be able to do it?
Yeah, I think our chemistry is really good. Before those injuries, 9 in a row or whatever it was, that told you the chemistry is there. They're playing hard for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, this current thing, I mean, this break couldn't have come at a better time. We need it. We need
I'm
to
telling
recoup, and I'm not worried about it because it's not indicative what these last 2 games have been of what this team is, right? Because you're not even fielding. You're losing 60% of your starters. So,
I mean,
and
tonight.
I also like the trade too. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I like the trade. Tonight, the Knicks had one starter on the floor. That was Jalen Brunson.
You can't take it seriously. It's like you limp into the break and you just, you start after the All-Star break. You take a little time, heal up a little bit, hang out with family, get a little bit of a grounding again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come out and you go for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they have, that kind of mentality. They have a go for it mentality. So I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, I like it. I think, they added.
And not only that,
Mhm.
Tim, but what I think I see too is the quality of the bench is improving. So
yeah,
right now, like you can make a trade with Hart and Burks and really get a better package than what you would have had before these trades started happening. Bogdanovich. I mean, doesn't mean to say these guys are going to be with you till the end, but now all of a sudden losing those guys doesn't hurt you quite as much, to go for a better player if you can for the playoffs. But, I just like the way that we've increased the depth of the quality,
Right.
So,
Right.
I'm feeling good about what we've been doing this year. I just can't believe it,
Yeah.
I was predicting 42 and 40 years.
Right.
But that was before those trades. That was before we got OG and that's you,
Yeah.
whatever he is.
And
Precious.
like you said, the Knicks are building, throughout this losing streak and throughout the injuries, the Knicks are building depth.
Yeah.
Because guys are getting better. Guys are learning their roles. They're building confidence, and
I mean, when the starters
yeah.
come back, the guys that are on the bench are all of a sudden going to be like, hey, plug me into that. I want to play with that unit.
Yeah.
I want to be out there with these guys. I'm looking at what they're doing, and they're going for it, and
Yeah.
that's what I see from them. Like when, what's his name? Hartenstein comes back and, OG comes back. Oh, and Randall comes back. Like, this is a way different team,
Yeah, way different team.
That's the team we saw win 9 in a row.
Right. Exactly. And that team that was winning 9 in a row has gotten deeper.
Yeah,
with the
that's
addition
right.
of Alec Burks and Bogdanovich.
But yeah.
You know?
I'm feeling okay with it. We can suffer along, but we're still, think about it, 11 games over 500. I mean, who would have thought that
Right.
at the start of the year?
Right.
I had them at just above 500 this year, before any of those good trades, but I didn't see us because I wasn't still sold on Tibbs, as well.
Mhm.
But I think tonight was like the first time we saw, for me, because I'm a big Sims fan, Jericho,
Right.
I like the kid. And he had his first tough one. He was a -14 plus minus,
Right.
So that's a struggle for him because he's never plus minus in the negative.
Right. I mean,
but
yeah.
even still, he had 8 rebounds. He just didn't have any blocks.
Right. Sims
So-
is still a work in progress as a young player. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And as long as the Knicks have Mitchell Robinson and
He needs to
Isaiah
bulk up a
Hartenstein,
little too.
yeah, as long as the Knicks have Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, he probably won't see many minutes unless there's
Exactly.
injuries and things like that. But he's still a work in progress.
But he's part of that depth we're talking about on
He
the
is.
bench. I mean, he's almost at the very end of it, and look at his quality.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that says something.
Yeah, and the Knicks have 2 more roster spots to be able to add more depth.
Yeah, think about that. Gee,
Right?
I don't know, man. Although I did watch the Celtics this week play. Well, who did they play? The Pacers or somebody? They beat them. I mean, they're a good team. They got too many really good athletes that are big and physical. Like they like to play a physical game. So,
Right.
and they're athletic. So
Right.
it's still, it's going to come down to them. Like I think we can hang with the Bucks and beat them even. And Philly, I think we can beat, but Cleveland might be surprising. Like they might just want to get their revenge on us from a couple of years ago when we beat them when no one thought we would.
Yeah, Cleveland is going into the break balling.
Right.
They're flying into the break.
I know.
You know what I mean? And they probably don't want the break to come. They're like, we're just going to kill our momentum. You know what I'm saying? We want to keep on going. Teams like the Knicks, they can't wait for the break. Cleveland, they're like, we don't need the break right now,
Yeah. That's a good thing, then. I'm happy with that. Let them
exactly.
Let them take a little time off and chill.
Exactly. Boston's going into the break on a 6-game win streak.
Yeah, well, geez, I can't. That's not surprising, right? Because they're just powerful. They're good.
Yeah.
I mean, that Porzingis move was huge. We don't have anybody that'll. Well, unless
and
Tibbs
Drew
would have
Holiday.
the ball,
Let's not forget about that.
Yeah. But I mean, if Tibbs ever had the balls to try and match up Jericho Sims against Porzingis, because he can hang with him, he's long for him, and if he can guard out by the threes with him, like Porzingis loves to kill you with the threes. All of a sudden, you don't see him out there, and he can hit from almost midcourt. So, like if you get a guy like Sims to line up against him, I don't think Tibbs would have the guts to do that, and I don't know if I would if I was the actual coach, but I wouldn't mind seeing that, just to see because Sims is good defense, and all he needs is a guy that can leap with him. Porzingis getting blocked for the 3-point shots. I can see that happening,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd like to see it, but in reality, would we have a chance to watch Sims play against the Celtics? I doubt it.
I doubt it.
You got Hardenstein and Mitch.
Yeah, unless there's an emergency, I doubt it.
Yeah. I'm not looking at my screen now, but I'm sure people are lining up those tomatoes with that statement.
Hey, they're gonna throw tomatoes in here about anything. And there's some people, they're not throwing tomatoes, but there's some people saying some stuff.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I know. And I am a little, I'll admit it. But I'm feeling good about the team, and I'm happy with the break coming. And, the second half is going to be a real pleasure if we're healthy,
Right. I just hope we can get healthy. That's the thing.
And I hope Brunson doesn't try and kill himself, like he's got a long season ahead of him, and we need him. So
yeah, we need him. But Brunson, he's gonna try to put the team on his back. That's how he's made.
I know.
That's how he's made.
So Tim has to watch that. It's up to Tim. Like that's where coaching is always huge. Like when you see him getting hot a little bit, let him make a run for it. But if he needs a break, you see him being tired and getting a little clumsy out there. That's when you put in Burks or McBride or whoever you got to give him a spell, and just let him regroup.
Yeah, I thought tonight, because there was a moment. Brunson played 35 minutes tonight.
Good.
There was a moment where I thought Tibbs was going to bring him back like early. You know what I mean? And he didn't.
Yeah.
When the Knicks were really, kind of struggling, they didn't have anyone that can create anything, and that's when Orlando really, jumped out to their lead. And I thought Tibbs, was going to say, "Yeah, let me get this guy back in the game," but he didn't. Brunson needed.
I'm glad he didn't because it's fruitless at this point. When you're this depleted with guys,
right?
Take the loss, give the guy the rest. Don't risk it.
Right. That's why I didn't even think he should have played
in the second half.
Right. I didn't even think he should have played tonight.
Yeah.
He needed.
Right.
He needed the rest more than playing in this basketball game. So luckily, he got out, without any,
It's like
aggravating
that
the
coach
ankle.
with San Antonio, right? Vukovic, is it? Or that coach with San Antonio? He just sits guys down. He doesn't care if it's going to be a national televised game.
Right.
He's going to win, and he's going to do whatever he feels is right for the team. So by you saying Brunson should have sat out, maybe you're right. I wouldn't be opposed to him have sat out today.
Yeah, he should have sat out, but no doubt. But hey, my man Joe, thank you for the call, man.
Yep.
Appreciate the time.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
As well. No doubt about it. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Be happy. You know what I'm saying? Be happy. Stop crying and complaining. It's Valentine's Day. You guys are supposed to be out with your wives anyway. And, you're on here complaining about the Knicks. Come on. What are we doing? Sean Richardson asks me, Sean, thank you for always jumping into the convo. Hey, Sim, what do you not like about Tom Thibodeau as a coach? I'll tell you what I don't like about Tom Thibodeau. I don't like the fact that he doesn't utilize all of the defenses that he can use. That's my biggest gripe about Tom Thibodeau. Right? I do not like the fact that he's straight man-to-man all the time. I think he should be using some zone. Especially, if you want to utilize a guy like Bogdanovich, you can utilize zone to hide his defensive, inefficiencies or whatever you want to call it. Inadequacies. I don't know what the word I want to use is, but, he can use a zone to hide it. And he can use a zone to rest your players a little bit. You can use a zone to switch up the defense to make it a little bit more unpredictable for the offense. Right? So I don't like the fact that Tom Thibodeau does not mix up the defense. It's just straight up man. And it becomes very predictable. And teams figure out ways to switch to get the matchup that they want against the Knicks. Right? If they want to get a big guy on Brunson, they'll figure out a way to switch and get a big guy on Brunson. And make Brunson have to guard a big guy. Or, if someone like a Bogdanovich or Fournier, well, no longer Fournier, but, somebody's on the floor that is not a good defender, right? They can find a way to switch and get who they want against that guy. My biggest gripe is that I wish that Tom Thibodeau would open up the defense a little bit more. Use more defensive strategy than just man-to-man and double teams here and there. Or sometimes he does double guards or send two people at a guard that's playing really, really well to get the ball out of their hands, but he doesn't do it until the fourth quarter. When I think you can use it throughout the game to give that guard different looks. You know what I mean? Because, basically for 3 quarters, they know, okay, well, I'm going to just have straight man on me, and I can do my thing. And then in the fourth quarter, I know that they're going to go to this trapping, or when the Knicks finally go to the trapping, you know what I'm saying? They know that, all right, well, they're going to be doing this. They're not going to switch out of it and do something else. They're doing this trapping for a little while. You know what I mean? So you figure out how to play through it. But if you switch it up, you never know when the trap is going to come. You never know when they're going to be in just straight man. You never know if they're going to do a 1-2-2 or a 3-2 or a 2-1-2 or a 2-3, right? Because you're constantly switching, so you make the defense have to make decisions. And, that's what I wish Tom Thibodeau would do more of. That's what I do not like about Tom Thibodeau. So there you go. Hopefully I answered your question. You know what I mean? Kevin said, in the playoffs, you must adjust or you won't make it far. I agree 100%, right? The playoffs, that's where the adjustments really come in. And it's not always in game, it's game to game, right? That's where you really have the ability to make adjustments game to game. During the regular season, you might play a team one time and you don't play them again for 3 weeks. By the time you play them in 3 weeks, any adjustments that you might have made might go out the window because they might have different players on the floor due to injuries or whatever. In the playoffs, night after night when you're playing that team, you got the same guys out there on the floor. You know what I mean? And so you're able to really make adjustments game to game and how you're going to approach that game. And, you know, adjustments are super key in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And I know there are some coaches like Eric Spoelstra who are really, really good at making in-game adjustments. But I'm going to tell you that I'm going to tell you right now, it is very hard, and that's what makes Spoelstra such a good coach. It is very hard to make in-game adjustments, you know, to actually be able to see, because you got to understand what you're looking at and how you're looking at things, right? There are so many different perspectives of a basketball game. You have the player's perspective who are on the court and how they see the basketball game, right? So just figure, when you're a player, you're looking at the game and you're looking straight down the line and you're seeing a bunch of players in front of you. You see the game very different. You can't really see where everyone's moving and what's happening out there, to be honest with you. I mean, you can see some things, but it's, you know, it's hard to comprehend everything that's going on when you see it from that angle. You know what I mean? Players who are really high, you know, have a bit high basketball IQ might be able to do so, but you really see it much better when you watch it on film. That's when you are actually able to see what did this team do, right? Because you know when you're in the game, it's hard to see everything that's going on, right? You got the ball in your hands, you can't see everything, or you got to set the screen on for Jalen Brunson. You can't see everything. You're paying attention to setting the screen. And then from the coach's perspective, you're on the sideline and you're still straight with the players. You're not looking at it from above. So you see it differently. That's why there's so many coaches on a bench, right? So that they can see their certain parts of the game. And when you're the head coach, you know, you can't watch just the defense or just the offense. That's why you got coaches that are watching the defense and the offense and looking at different type of adjustments. And then when you're a fan, you're sitting up above the game. So you see it at a very different perspective than the players and the coaches see it. And then when you're watching it on TV, you see another perspective. Right? And then when you're able to finally sit down and watch it on film, and you're able to stop things and slow it down, that's where you can really see what was happening out there on the floor. So it's not as easy as so many people say, well, just do this. It's never that easy. Trust me. It's hard. You know, it's hard to see the game. And you have coaches get mad at players because the player doesn't see what the coach sees, but the player is seeing it at a very different perspective. You know, so, you know, it's easy to say, well, just do this. But, you know, things are much easier said than done. You know, anyway, ladies and gentlemen. But Kevin, you're right, man. Adjustments are critical in the playoffs. End game, but especially game to game. You know what I mean? Because you have time to really look at it, see what that team did, and then figure out what you're going to do when you come back. You know, super important. And not only are adjustments important, but you got to have the players to adjust. We could talk about all the adjustments that you want. If your players can't comprehend the adjustment or execute the adjustment, you know, and that's why all coaches, you know, they want players. They want certain types of players. I seen somebody say in the chat the other day, Tom Thibodeau only goes and gets players that knows how to win. What? Of course. That's how most coaches win basketball games. They go get players that know how to win. Because knowing how to win doesn't mean that you can go make a jumper. It means that when it's time to make an adjustment, you can make that. You can execute it. Right? You can understand the basketball game. You understand what's happening on the floor. When you're looking at film, you are actually able to see it and say, oh, I see what I got to do, and then implement it on the floor. Like, those are winning players. But folks, the Knicks limp into the All-Star break with massive injuries. You know, massive injuries. I don't know how many starters was out. Only one starter on the floor tonight. That was Jalen Brunson. Everybody else were, bench players stepping up into the starting lineup. Massive injuries tonight for the Knicks. Finally through it. They're on a 4-game losing streak. Let's hope that when they come back, they play the Philadelphia 76ers, they can get themselves a win and start this winning basketball again and, try to knock this thing out for the home stretch. Knock it out for the home stretch. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate your time. I will be doing some stuff during the All-Star break. I'm not going to disappear. It's been a hectic past couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to do the game preview. Right? I wasn't able to do the game preview because of just the way that my practice and game schedule have been. I've been playing like 4 games a week. We got a game tomorrow, then we got a game Friday. Finally, we'll get a little bit of a break this weekend. So, I'll be on this weekend for sure. I won't be able to get on tomorrow because, I got a full day of stuff and then a basketball game. Maybe tomorrow evening, we'll see. But over the weekend, I'll definitely be on, probably before or after or during the All-Star game. You know what I mean? I want to talk about Brunson. I want to talk about the 3-point contest, Jacob Toppin in the slam dunk contest. So I'm definitely going to be on this weekend. All right. And everything leading up to the Knicks returning, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? So the last thing I want to say, though, before I get out of here is that I think Sean and Greg are the same guy. I really do. I think they're the same guy. I think it's somebody sitting there, they got a laptop up and they got a phone up and, they're like, I think they're the same guy. If you're not the same guy, I need to see both of y'all get on the show. That's what I need to see. Both of you get on the show because I really think they're the same guy. Greg, I think, you say, wow, really? I think you guys are the same guy. You know what I mean? If you're not the same guy, get on the show. You know what I mean? And look, people are laughing. They're laughing in the chat because I think they know it's true too. And you guys are talking back and forth to each other in the chat. That's just like look, Greg always throws tomatoes too. I haven't seen Greg and Sean disagree about anything in the chat, really. I'm on their payroll. Right. I'm on their payroll. You say you and Greg are realists, but you actually think I'm on their payroll. Come on. Bugging out right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm up out of here. I think I need them both to get on the show. Not just call in. I need them both to get on the show. You know what I mean? But I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Hold up. Greg said, because I'm the only one that don't see anything wrong with 13 players injured this season under Tom Thibodeau. You, sir, are not a real brother. Last year, did you see anything wrong with the Knicks not really suffering any injuries? They had some injuries, obviously. Every team does every year. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it don't. It's basketball. That's how it happens. Tom Thibodeau ain't coaching my team, and I had a slew of injuries. It happens like that. Anyway, you know what I mean? I'm up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Greg, Sean, hopefully you got your phone and your laptop together. I need to see y'all on the show together to prove to me that you're not the same person, because I think you're the same person. I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.